Watch this. I'm going to ask Claude to pull up every open opportunity over 100 grand inside of my Salesforce org. It can do updates. It can create follow-up tasks, all from chat. No code, no API clients, no SOQL. All of this is being done using AI tools like ChatGPT or Claude. And by the end of this video, you'll have this exact setup running in your own org. So let's go. I've been getting this question a ton. What are MCPs? Well, they're basically a standard way for your AI tools to talk to outside systems. Salesforce shipped an official MCP, and now Claude knows how to use and consume it. What we're going to be using today is the hosted MCP for sobject-all servers. So this is being able to read, write, and query a lot of your Salesforce data inside of Claude. One really quick thing is that this MCP can work with Claude, Claude Code, Claude Desktop, Cursor, VS Code, and a lot of the other AI tools that we have and are using all the time. Now, I'll probably make separate videos about that, so links in the description to look out for those. I'm in the setup here. I'm going to first need to create an external client app. So let's go to external client apps manage, and inside of the external client app manager, we'll create a new external client app. I'll call this Claude integration. You can call it anything like hosted MCP. And there are ways of using one single ECA for multiples of these hosted MCPs, or allowing it to integrate with multiples of these AI tools. And if you're curious about that, we can create another video for that. Let's add in our email here and click the OAuth enable for in the API section. Now, super important, the callback URL. It's in the documentation. I have it copied and I'm going to paste it in here. It's this claude.ai/API/MCP/auth_callback. Don't worry about what any of this is. Just copy and paste it in here, either from the documentation or links in the description for all of the stuff that I'm typing in here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and search for MCP for the OAuth scope. And this is what we're looking for here, Access Salesforce Hosted MCP. We're going to click over for that one there. And then the other one that we need is, I'm going to do a Control F, and we need the refresh token. It should be in here somewhere. Here we go. This is the one that I'm looking for. I typed in requests. We're looking for perform requests at any time. So we're selecting that one as another OAuth scope, and we only need those two OAuth scopes for this to work. Coming down a little bit further, there's a few different items that we need here. We can actually uncheck a few of these because we won't be needing them, or at least the documentation says we don't need them. And we do want to check issue JSON web tokens based on access tokens for named users. So these are the only two that we want on, the Pixie key and the JSON web token inside of here. Go ahead and click create. That looks good. Gonna head back over to settings, and you can click the OAuth settings again, and consumer key and consumer secret. You might get a validation like this. I'm using a scratch org, so I'm pretty safe in showing you all this because this org is going to be gone probably by the time you're watching this. Anyways, you want to keep these very secret, right? Put them in a password manager and make sure that you have access to them, or you can access them inside of Salesforce as well. But you don't want to show these or commit these inside of your GitHub repos or anything like that. But we're going to need these later. I'm going to hold on to them. But the key and the secret is what we're going to need to complete the setup inside of Claude Code. All right, we should pretty much be done here. Let's actually go over to the, I think it's hosted MCPs, or MCP servers in the setup. And we can see, if we click on Salesforce servers, we can see all of the Salesforce servers that are available and at our disposal. Today, we're going to be talking about the sobject-all, which is very powerful. You'll be able to read and write records using sobject-all. There's a ton of other ones inside of here that are actually very useful and very important. If you're curious about those, we can take a look at them in the future. I'm going to view the details for sobject-all MCP server and actually activate it. So this is allowing us, once it's activated, to use this server URL that we have here. So what the heck is inside of this server URL? Well, we can see here in the tools. Here are all of the abilities that we are going to grant to our AI agent. We can retrieve records, including child records. We can view different records, run SOQL queries, right? Here's the super powerful ones, right? We've got SOQL queries and SOQL queries. Get user info, and a lot of these are very powerful. We can even update records down here and create new records. All of this are the things that our agents are going to be able to do, and it's worth reading through and diving into these a little bit deeper to understand if you're turning this on for your organization and giving different users access to this MCP, it may have things that you don't want inside of it. So be careful with that. Read through all the capabilities that are being given, and there are ways of creating custom versions of these MCPs which have more limited scopes. We also have some pre-built out prompts here that Salesforce has provided for us. Not sure how useful they actually are, but in the future we'll talk about how to create these ourselves so that your sales teams, your RevOps teams can have pre-built prompts that Salesforce and your agents will know how to use based on these MCP servers. So cool. This is activated now. What we really need is this server URL. I'm going to copy this, and it's finally time to start using Claude. So let's go over to this plus sign over here, and we can use connectors and add a connector. In the future, this may be moved around. The UI is always changing, but you're more or less looking for this connectors section. I'm going to add a connector, and I actually need to add a custom connector. Let's see if we've got that option in here. Add connectors. Let's go to manage connectors. Cool. And once we're in this manage connectors customized section, we can go ahead and hit this plus sign, add custom connector. We're going to name it. I'm going to do Salesforce dash, and depending on where you're in, it might be prod, it might be a sandbox. You just want to name it accordingly. I'm going to say scratch, and I'll just say MCP. Drop in that URL. And then in the advanced settings down here, this is where we're going to put in that client ID, client secret that we need to actually process this. So let's jump back over here, grab the client key, go back into our Claude, and we should only need our client ID or that client key. So let's try that out and add that. So this is now adding it inside of our instance of Claude as a connector, a custom connector. And we'll need to connect in here, and this is going to pop a Salesforce login screen. So just make sure you're already logged in or anything like that. So let's hit connect. And one thing that you can do as an organization owner is actually add these custom MCPs for everybody inside of your organization, which is very powerful, right? You can give sales users or whoever needs it access to this MCP. But right now we're adding it custom just for us. Okay, and that should be it, right? I've got my Notion and I've got my Salesforce MCP hooked up. So let's actually use it. Got a couple prompts here prepared, and let's just try to connect, see if Claude knows how to use our MCP properly. And it looks like it is trying to get our user info. So I'm going to allow this. And this is using, while that's thinking, this is using one of the tools that I was mentioning inside here. So it's using that get user info tool that we have set up here. So this is really cool. It has my email, my user, and different properties about me. So this is awesome, right? This is able to connect directly to Salesforce using that MCP, and it knows, we know that it's working because it is able to connect as my user. So let's try some other stuff out. What accounts have I looked at recently? So it's going to now try to list the different records, and we can click on this drop down arrow to kind of see what it's thinking about, what it's trying to do. And we have some other options here for like allow once for if we want this to run very often or not, like if we trust it to do this. So it looks like we haven't viewed anything since this is a fresh org, which is accurate. Let's actually go in and try to view some accounts, and I need to create a new list view. Let's just do that. Sweet. And I'm going to just click on a couple of these, and my recently viewed should be getting updated. Let me actually click on them. There we go. We've got two, and let's try it again. What about now? So this has context of our conversation, right? What we're doing now. And let's see, it's trying to be too smart, right? So recheck recent accounts. So it has context of our conversation, and now it's trying to use that MCP again. So instead of me having to allow this every time, I can always allow. And then it can run this prompt multiple times without me needing to do anything. And perfect. Now these are coming back, and these are the most recent ones. When we put up the details, yeah, let's get the details. And same thing, it's going to use that MCP, go out and fetch even more details around it. And I'm just going to accept it once. So one thing that you'll see if you don't want to continue to accept it, accept the individual pieces over and over again, you can come back into our connectors and click on the MCP that we're working with. And here are all of the different actions, the different tools that it has at its disposal. And we can decide here, okay, we always want to need approval for creating records. But if you're trying to find a record, okay, you're allowed to do that, right? And or if we're trying to get records, get related records, get user infos, those are always allowed. So we don't have to go through this whole rigmarole and approve each time. But what I generally do, and one best practice I want to leave you all with is what I generally do is the read actions, I'll approve them, but anything that's updating records or deleting, doing any like hard DMLs, then I want to wait for approval or ask for approval for those. So that should be pretty good. Let's jump back into the chat here, and we've got some details related to the accounts that we're working with. One other thing that is really helpful is using like this voice mode, or I actually have a voice tool that's called Whisperflow that I like to use on a keyboard shortcut. And you can say things like, how many opportunities are open and over 100K? Can you group them by stage? Give me the count and the total per stage. And that's going to pop through here. I'm going to run that. And now this will go off and start doing its querying, its searching, and always allow for that one. Now it's going through, finding my accounts. Another best practice is to always double check its work. So give me the Salesforce IDs and the URL to open those ops. And now, just in case it was kind of hallucinating, making this stuff up, which it shouldn't because it's getting the context that it needs for all of this, we should be able to then validate the information, right? And it looks like if I open that, it's not actually the right URL. So I'm going to say, this is not the correct domain. Use this base URL. So just some things that you're going to have to start teaching and showing your AI tool on how to utilize these things. Once you start building out your memory and your Claude.md and a few of these other more advanced files, it'll remember these sort of things. Let's click on these and see if they open successfully now. There we go. There's our Burlington fabric sourcing, and we've got the correct amount inside of here. Let's try creating some records. So create a follow-up task on GenWatt diesel 100K opportunity, and we want it to create a new task and with a few different values. So I can open this up and we can see that it has now created this as my user very quickly with all the information that I needed inside of it. So that is awesome. And you can see how powerful this is, where I can just use natural language to actually create these things. On the same opportunity, move the stage to negotiate and bump the amount up to 135K. Right, and we're talking about this opportunity. Before I go ahead and really quickly, let's check out this opportunity. GenWatt diesel 100K. So right now it's 125K, and it is in negotiation. So, or it's not in negotiation, it's in proposal right now. Let's make sure. I'm going to move the stage back to proposal. Let's see if it moves it to negotiation, right? So I'm just using natural language. Ideally, it should pick up the op, right? From the context that we were working with before, it's going to pick up that op and now update the values that we're using. So let's approve this to make an update. And you can see how powerful this MCP is. We're using Claude, we're using natural language to actually update our opportunity in our records. And there we have it. Values updated, status is in negotiation. And this is really just the tip of the iceberg for using these sorts of tools. Let's try one more thing. Delete this op. All right, I'm going to go ahead and try to see what it does, if it will delete this op or not. Lisa's asking for confirmation. I'm going to say yes. And I feel like our tool that we gave this access to shouldn't be able to delete, but I want to see what it does. Looks like it connects. Yeah, so this is perfect, right? The MCP that we're using does not have the ability to do deletions. So it is not giving us the option to do it. Well, it's telling us how to do it inside of our Salesforce org, but that's a whole different story, right? The MCP is not automatically deleting stuff for us, which is really great. One really quick thing, if you are testing this out inside of a Sandbox or even a Scratch org, just make sure that you're using the correct server URL. Ideally, just copy it from wherever you turn on your hosted MCP server URLs once you activate it. But just throwing this out there in case you get confused or it's not working, there's a different URL for production versus the Sandboxes and Scratch orgs. Also, just a reminder, your field level security and all of the really great permissionings that exist inside of Salesforce are still in play here. So whichever user you're logged in as, you're basically transferring that access into the MCP. Just make sure that you're aware of that, right? If you're still trying to update records that you don't have access to, then it may not work. One other pro tip, and it is a recommendation from Salesforce. Inside of your external client app, we want to edit some of our policies to make sure that our tokens don't live forever. So they do expire after a certain amount of time. So ideally, you want to set this to maybe 30 days for the token validity period and hit save on that. If you actually got this to work, do me a favor and drop a comment with your wildest prompts that you have thrown at your org. I read all of them. Make sure to subscribe if you want more Salesforce plus AI stuff. And next video, we'll probably talk about how to integrate this MCP with Claude Code and your favorite IDEs like Cursor and VS Code. I'll see you on the next one.